Not being able to do something that you want to do is the most frustrating thing ever, especially when it's something that's important to you, your business, your family, and you can't figure out what's stopping you and why you can't just do it. In this video, I am going to share with you why you can't get to it, and not just why, but how you are going to effectively get whatever you want done. However, unlike typical advice around procrastination, we are going to do this without any shame, without the guilt. We around here are all about compassion and gentleness and ease. First, if you are already a subscriber around here, you're awesome, way to go. If you aren't yet, I'm Becca Rich. I am the holistic time coach, and I work with successful online business owners and entrepreneurs who are looking to create time freedom in their lives and step off the hamster wheel of never-ending productivity. Okay, so what is procrastination in the first place? I want to get super clear on what it is and what it isn't. When you take the emotional charge, the frustration out of not getting something done that you want to do, the simplest definition of procrastination is just delaying an action until later. And so this brings me to the most important point here, is that a lot of things that our society or even our brains deem as procrastination probably aren't actually procrastination. You see, our society values fast action takers, get everything done without really thinking twice often. Just go, 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 never stop. And so a lot of people think that the creative process shouldn't include delaying things or taking your time or letting things marinate and sit. So procrastination is not the creative process. It is not letting ideas marinate, and it is not waiting for a sign that you should be working on something. It is not waiting for clarity. It is not waiting on your gut reaction to working on some project or thing in your life. And let's be real, we're humans. So procrastination is not when you are grieving or when you have intense feelings that are coming up around whatever is happening in your life. And last but not least, procrastination is not relaxing. It is not taking time off. All of these things we think of as procrastination, and really it's just letting things evolve and be and create the life of its own. One of my favorite things that I've ever learned is the aliveness of our creativity and our ideas. That is talked about by Elizabeth Gilbert in Big Magic. If you haven't read it, go read that book because it's amazing. But it really rings true right here in this video. So if you find yourself not doing something, there could be a deeper reason, maybe in your gut, maybe in the universe or higher power that you believe in, that maybe it's not the right time for you to do that. We need to be able to decipher and figure out if it's really, we know we want to do something and it's like, yes, 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 from all angles, this is what I need to do, and you're still not doing it. That's where the rest of this video comes in. But I wanted to bring this up in the very beginning of what it isn't, because you're probably not procrastinating as much as you think you are. And if you need help deciphering whether you are actually procrastinating or just in the creative process waiting for things to shift and evolve, pause and go inwards and actually figure out, is this something that I really don't want to do, or is this something that I do want to do and it's just taking more time than I initially thought it would, and that is okay. So if you are actually procrastinating, you know you need to do something and want to do it and all of the signs say yes, why can't you do it? After I go into why, I'll share with you the amazing tools and tips that will help you compassionately and effectively do it. So your procrastination is driven by a combination of a lot of complex things all talking to one another, super connected. But simply put, we put tasks off, one, because our brains believe that we're not going to enjoy doing them, two, because there's fear around us not doing them well, and three, because we want to avoid making ourselves unhappy. So by protecting yourself against the fear of failure, beating yourself up and potentially other people criticizing you is actually kind of sweet of you. It's not really about your inability to manage time or jam more things into your calendar or really even self-discipline. It's a way of coping with complicated, complex emotions. But that's just the first half of the cycle. The second half of this procrastination cycle is that you know you want to do something, and for those 3 reasons I just gave you, probably one of them apply, and then you just don't do it, or you push it off to later. And what happens on the second half of this cycle is you beat yourself up. So attempt to not beat yourself up or fear of failure, you end up beating yourself up. And so it turns into this vicious cycle. If it seems ironic that we procrastinate to avoid our feelings and then we cause the exact feeling we're trying to avoid, it's because it is ironic. If this cycle makes sense to you and resonates, hit the like button below to just let me know that yes, this is probably the cycle that you are experiencing. So how do we move forward? How do we get out of this vicious cycle? How do we get unstuck? And the typical advice out there is to just do it, right? And that doesn't work. If we could just get to it, we would have already. When we realize why, the cycle that I just explained, why at the core it's just emotions and not productivity, then we can solve it with an emotional solution, aka loving yourself. So when you procrastinate, the first thing to do is forgive yourself. Say, I forgive you. It is okay. All there needs to be here is forgiveness and self-compassion. Several studies now have shown that self-compassion is really at its core how to motivate ourselves, and it doesn't require a new tool or hack or trick or even something external. All it requires is a greater self-acceptance. The second thing to do is to just start tracking that you have done things, right? This is my concept of a have done list, just writing out all the things that you have done in a day. This goes hand in hand with proving to your brain that you have done something with your time and that everything is all right. Seeing your progress really 100% helps motivate you, keeps, that momentum going, and it's going to help you procrastinate less. And it feels good. The third thing is remind yourself that you've done something similar in the past and it turned out okay. Just remind yourself, reassure yourself that you are going to be here for yourself no matter the outcome of what happens. The fourth tip here is making whatever you want to do as easy as possible for you to do. So that looks like turning your phone off. A lot of people don't actually do this. Set yourself up for success. Create focused time blocks in your calendar that are devoted to that task, not just general time blocks to work. Set your workout clothes out. Meal prep. That's the whole point of all of these tips, is make things easiest as possible for you, for whatever goal or thing that you are trying to accomplish. Number 5, delegate the things that you don't have to do. This takes a little bit of introspection and work to figure out what you can actually delegate and what is okay to delegate in your life, what you want to get rid of. But when you figure that out, get rid of it. Give it to someone else if possible. Then you don't have to procrastinate on it and it's off your hands and it gets done by someone who would actually enjoy doing it. Number 6, take care of yourself. I know this is another vicious cycle when it comes to time management, is we don't have time to take care of ourselves. But at the end of the day, if you take care of yourself, then you're good at managing your time. You've got to find a way to take care of yourself, because if you're physically well, you are going to be able to be more motivated, more energized, more focused, and you're not going to procrastinate. Number 7 is people procrastinate because it feels too overwhelming and too big of a thing. So simplify it. Do yourself a favor by just simplifying. What is the smallest, tiniest little thing that you can do to make some progress? Or get someone to help you simplify it if you're having trouble simplifying it. Which brings me to asking for help, right? It is so important that if you are procrastinating on a task, you could get it done like right now if all you did was just bring awareness and talk to someone or get support on that task and have it off your plate. Just think about what it would feel like to have the thing that's been sitting on your to-do list for like 2 years off the weight just lifts and it feels so, so, so good. Number 8, the vicious cycle that we are in is because of a thing called present bias. We set goals for our future self, right? Our future self is going to be a more successful business owner, have more time, be more healthy, whatever the future self goal is. Only the present self right here can take action. And so they're at odds, right? The future self with the beautiful goals and the dreamy life that you are trying to create, and the present self that needs to take action to get there are fighting. They're not together. And so what needs to happen is that your present self right here needs to communicate with your future self on a more regular basis in a really compassionate way. And in that conversation, it's going to help you feel comfortable enough to take action, to make your present self a little bit closer to your future self. And my 10th tip is remember that procrastination is not the creative process. So give yourself time, incorporate the creative process into how you manage your time. Give yourself lots of space and freedom and ease as you are working towards your future self goal. And that in itself is going to motivate you. When we stuff our schedules and shame ourselves, that's the vicious cycle. Get the cycle before it completes. And that is really going to help you compassionately and effectively make progress. So now that you know why you're procrastinating and 10 different ways to compassionately and effectively move through that, we need to create a game plan. When we're experiencing this cycle, we need to know what to do. Write down your top 3, whether it's in the comments below or in your journal or somewhere. Write down the top 3 takeaways that you got from this video, and then keep that front and center for when this comes up. When you find yourself unable to do something you want to do, all we need is more self-love. You do not need to beat yourself up any longer, because that is what's continuing to make you procrastinate. So no more beating yourself up. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button below if you haven't already, and please let me know what your game plan is, what you are going to do when you find yourself not doing something you want to do.